Hey, Diane. Hey, David. Good to see you. About to go live on Facebook as well. One quick second, waiting for Facebook and YouTube. Great. Facebook is go. YouTube is go. Welcome everybody to the Abundance/Money Attraction Workshop. Let me just kick up Instagram there. Cool. I'm so grateful for everybody who's showing up today. We have so many people across 4 different platforms, and this is a workshop which fills me with so much passion, and I know a lot of people who are here are interested and curious about this topic as well. I'd like if everybody could mute themselves and stay muted. The biggest thing about this topic is realizing that sure, money energy is all around the world. Abundance energy is all around the world. There's so many triggers. There's so much excitement. There's so much different types of energy around the concept of money. And what I'd like to offer you here today is a way of redefining or leveling up your definition of money and of abundance for several different purposes. So as you saw in the agenda, money's like chi. There's a money energy and a money energy signature. There's a lot of mystical stuff that you can do with money. There's a lot of practical stuff you can do with money, different types of planning, different types of goal setting. And so we're going to cover a lot of that here today. If you guys are watching on social media or on Zoom, please post your comments and questions as soon as they come up. And I'll do my best to answer, include, and respond to them as I can. If I look forward, that's for Facebook and YouTube. If I look up, that is for Instagram. So getting started here, one of the biggest misconceptions about money, one of the biggest false beliefs I want to help clear for everybody is that money is the root of all evil, or people who like money or want money is associated with greed, with materialism. So let's scrap everything we know, everything we've heard and we've thought about related to money. Hey, Rachel and Alyssa and Amory, glad y'all are joining right now. So clearing the slate of what money has meant, any negative meanings of money, for example. Money is just energy. It's a neutral form of energy that you can take in, that you can send out, that you can work with on command. Now, a lot of people who are joining in have asked me by email and by PM how they can make money with their passion, how they can hold on to more money, how their money can go upwards at a continuous flow. So like all the people we hear about, we admire who grow money based on interest, grow money based on investments, how your capital, how your cash flow can continuously grow upwards. We're going to talk about a lot of big secrets that I found in discovering and studying years of different thought leaders related to money. There's so many books, mystical and practical. So to make this interactive, I'd like for you to get out a way of taking notes. Could be paper, could be a notes app. But as you have that open and as you're thinking about your money situation, I want you to be really real with yourself and really aligned. These notes are just for you, unless you ever want to share them with a buddy or anything like that. And I want you to write down your net worth. Just as whatever comes to mind, you don't have to do, everything back and forth. Net worth is all your balances, any incoming money that's about to clear, any debts, things like that. And you could just round it off to a round number. If you have no idea, tap into your intuition. If the number's positive, negative, if you have no clue, that's okay. But just try to get a bit of a barometer, right? Under that, I want you to write down what your monthly expenses are. And again, just intuit this. This is not a whole big spreadsheet. This is working with the practical elements of your life as it is and as you'd like it to be. Hey, Max, glad to see you joining in. So under your monthly budget, I want you to think just for a second about your dream life, about all the things you want to do, all the things you want to experience. Travel, gifts, contribution to family, experiences, special possessions, things you want to get, whether it's crystals or motorcycles or homes or, any category of anything. And think about your ideal budget. Maybe it's the same if you're completely happy with where you're at. Maybe there's some big charitable contributions you want to make, ways you want to impact the world. And under your current monthly budget, I want you to write your dream life budget. And any amount is okay. If it's 5 figures, 6 figures, 7 figures, whatever feels right and aligned for you in the life you want to live. I trust or hope that everybody tuning in is, an ethical, moral person, and they're not trying to raise a bunch of money to, do uncouth things. If so, please tune out. I'm not here to support that. But when you think about your dream life, when you think about your ideal budget, the cash flow, the net worth that you would like to support that, just consider for a moment the difference. So I'm going to use two random numbers. I live in the Bay Area and it's a bit pricey to live out here. So I'm just going to use general numbers for here that I've thought of for different folks. I'm going to round them off. Hey, George, it's great of you to join. So, real general number for basic monthly budget, you could say is 5K. And a number for a dream life budget, say is 20K. Nothing really extravagant, building up a good savings, being able to help out friends and family here and there. And I want you right under that to write your 2021 yearly income, not 2020, that's past, but in knowing yourself and thinking about your skills and thinking about what you believe your legitimate professional worth is, the value of what you can contribute, and the market, the world, the economy as it is, right under that line, I just want you to write down your goal income for 2021. And I'd recommend that it be similar to 2020, maybe 10% higher. Maybe if you're planning or there's a career change happening and it'll be much different, then make that little tweak. And then just very briefly divide that by 12, grab a calendar app or calculator app, or if you think that's too much simultaneous work, just divide it by 10 and be a little generous with yourself, right? And so look at the difference between your dream life monthly budget and your current monthly budget, right? In this example, say it's 15K. Right. So how do you make up the difference between that 5K that you've been spending, you've been bringing in, after taxes, things like that, and the other 15K for all the elements of life that you'd like to have on a consistent basis, doing work you love, doing things you're passionate about, again, being able to make the contributions and meaningful impact in the world that you'd like to make. For me, those two areas primarily are spirituality and education. Environment is a very, very close third, but I feel if people are educated, then we can better and more quickly take care of the environment through technology and service. But those are the three areas that I personally care very deeply about helping in the world. And I think causes is very important. So as you're considering the difference here and all the factors related to bringing in money, bringing in abundance into your life and holding that vibration, I just want you to pause. And as you consider that difference in money, I want you just to feel your chest and your stomach. I want you to close your eyes as we shift from this high frequency excitement beginning and just kind of drop into yourself, right? And as you drop into yourself, just notice if there's any emotions that arise. Just notice and, consider if you're feeling anything, if there's any thoughts related to negativity or lack or challenge, and just focus on your breath. Notice those emotions. Notice any body tension you might feel. And just breathe deeply into that. As you exhale, expand. One more time, take a deep breath in and just expand. Right? No matter what comic strip or movie strip is playing in your mind, no matter what thoughts from your story of your life, of your relationship with money or abundance, we'll just wipe all that clean and just notice if you have any patterns in your system where you feel tension related to money. That's a limiting belief, to use one school of thought, that could be holding you back. And I'm going to go so far as to assume to say it is holding you back. If you think about a major event, it could be public speaking, it could be a presentation, things with sports, whatever scenario could, cause you stress or excitement, how to relax, right? You've done it so many times before. Yet when we're thinking about money, career, jobs, finance, spending, saving, budgeting, there's so many times in life, and especially portrayed all over the media, where that tension comes up. And that courage we want to summon up to apply for a job, to ask for a raise, to pitch whatever you would pitch, to have the courage and confidence to go after your passion, make a business plan, pitch and ask for funding, and deal with the topic of rejection, perceived or actual. And stay in confidence, stay in brightness, stay in that white light, that happy, expansive feeling. When you remove all the obstacles, all the limiting beliefs, all the emotions, all the story, you'll be more able to flow. You'll be more focused and present and centered. Now, if anybody here has seen The Pursuit of Happiness, it's a really beautiful movie. I don't want to spoil it, but anybody can see from the trailer. Okay, I'm going to say a couple of tidbits. So, mute me for 30 seconds if you really want to. But, ultimately, the lesson in this and the subtleties, it's still a movie worth watching. So Will Smith has a very financially challenging life with his son, wants to provide a good life for his son, wants to live a good or even a decent life for himself. And this is a topic he was really struggling with. It's a struggle that I hope nobody here has to go through, unless, to give the common spiritual phrase, it's in your highest alignment, serving your highest growth. But for most of us, it's nice to have our basic needs covered and to know they will be covered. And Will has to go through the experiences in this movie of figuring out his career and his financial life to live the lifestyle he'd like to live, right? He doesn't care about buying yachts. He doesn't care about, flashing Rolexes. He just wants to provide for, his family, right? You could say that's a very noble, very basic element, right? And as you consider watching that film of somebody's struggle and hopefully triumph in his story and his money story, you'll see how somebody deals with the situations that come up. And I want to help you reprogram your money thoughts, your money beliefs, emotions, and stories. We don't have time here to go through all of the techniques and clear all the common money beliefs. But just to tackle one and to show you one quick technique for removing those money beliefs is think of a phrase that you believe is true and is limiting related to money. It could be, I don't have enough money. It could be, I feel uncertain or scared about money. It could be, there isn't enough money. Very simple, straightforward things. Maybe when you were growing up or in a significant experience in your life, you had a big challenge and stress related to money. I've been there, I can empathize. And you just had to keep your cool. You just had to trudge on, and you had to find a way to survive and to be, but that experience made a mark on you, or maybe witnessing the experience of the people who raised you, or, earlier memories. So if something like that brings something up in your system, one of the simplest ways of releasing it is think about it to the extent you can while staying present, and just do some tapping. Just tap on your breastbone and breathe, right? There's certain topics where we need to just continuously tap just to release the stored cortisol in our heart and elsewhere and release that stress, right? There's some very complex techniques related to clearing limiting beliefs, related to eye movement, tapping on the occipital lobe, breathing, visualizing, affirming. But just for yourself right now, and just because I'm talking to a big audience of a lot of people, just say to yourself, either out loud or with full strength and clarity in your mind, that story, that scenario is not happening right now. And just feel any tension that releases, right? Whatever happened 5, 10, 20, whatever years ago is not happening in this moment. And if you've researched, triggers and traumas and emotional reverberations and those topics, you might be familiar with the concept that things that happen in our past can affect how we feel about things that come up in the present. So just briefly, just to be raw and help everybody heal and process, I want you to take a second and just write a comment of something that you'd like to have help getting cleared, or something that you're happy that you cleared. And if that's, feels difficult or too personal, you could talk about something in general, like across humanity, or something with a friend or loved one who you've helped, be confident and present with the stuff in the past. So just take a second, allow yourself to feel vulnerable. Rachel, thank you for sharing. I appreciate that. I think what you shared is something a lot of people might feel. Just full disclosure, I'm actually not going to read that comment out loud, but for future comments, anything you comment, I might use in the workshop to as an example to help us clear. But as you might comment and see other folks' comments, I guess on Facebook and YouTube, it's public. But tune in to thoughts like, you don't have enough money to live how you want. That's a limiting belief, right? Want is subjective. And even though you could want a lot of things and say you don't want those, whatever the word, whatever the phrase is, right? Again, see where that's coming from. It could be something you could choose to say in the present tense, but as you feel that belief, I want you to tap on your breastbone. I want you to look back and forth simultaneously, tap on the back of your head, and say releasing with those words, with that technique. So releasing, there's not enough money to do what I want. Clearing, there's not enough money to do what I want. And you keep saying that, and what this technique can do, so I've been told, and again, I'm not a medical professional, so these are just ideas. These, in my opinion, can release the nervous system signals going into your brain. When you're tapping or pressing on your vagus nerve and your breastbone, they can release and stop the circuit that goes into your heart and vagus nerve, the emotional circuit tied to money. When you say releasing or clearing, and then your limiting belief, what that does is that gets deep in your conscious mind, and with the rapid eye movement back and forth, a little EMDR technique, that actually gets it deeper in your subconscious mind. So you're clearing it in 4 places at once. Now, when I learned this belief, clearing exercise, I was told that some powerful beliefs could take 2, 3, 4, even 5 repetitions. And from my own experience with a lot of different topics, it's so freeing, clearing a trauma, clearing a limiting belief, right? And when it's cleared, when you can think about the scenario or think about the words and not feel them emotionally, not get tense, not clench up, not feel frazzled or lose focus, right? So for money, there could be a large number of things. And the healthiest way of resolving this stuff, if you like this technique, is generally think about money, generally take money actions. Maybe, look at this $100 bill, which I just keep around in good condition to connect me with money, energy, and vibration, as we'll get into in a little bit. And if you ever notice that tension, that tightness, that frazzledness, just intuitively open up to whatever words or phrases are arising to your consciousness and narrow that down to one limiting belief, and just do that clearing exercise, the tapping here, the looking back and forth, and say releasing, I don't have enough money, right? And what that can do, ultimately, in clearing that from your system, is clear away the fear, right? So I used to have scenarios, even though I've worked for myself for most of my adult life. There's a scenario where I was living in Michigan, and I'm living in California now, where I was applying for really a dream job. And I had all the qualifications on paper. I had great relationships with the team and the leadership. But when it got time to talk about money, there were 2 CEOs and a chief financial officer in the room. I was applying for, a high-level decent position. A lot of conversations up to then. And like a very old school, super formal thing, I had printouts of the salary that I wanted and the justification and reasons for it, market rates, skill set, that type of thing. And I just handed them over. I didn't say the numbers. And there were 2 numbers. They were a range. One was a median and one was a higher amount, just in abundance thinking. And the CEO, one of them said that he didn't feel that that higher amount of money was right. We didn't talk figures. We didn't talk about the lower amount. We didn't do what I personally think can be a really healthy conversation topic when you're interviewing for a job, is start for whatever they're willing to pay for you, with the understanding that if you succeed in how you feel you can contribute value, you'll get up to the higher number in a certain period of time, right? That's giving a bit of mutual trust, and you saying your worth, giving them time to know and trust you. And of course, the ideal is, you ask for the ideal number, you represent your best self, they see it, they say yes, right? The dream interview negotiation. But I felt so nervous and uncomfortable about the topic of money that all I did was speak defensively and stutter a little bit. And I ended up not getting the job that day. And after 2 more weeks of conversation, in a future conversation with one of the CEOs, I got frazzled. I kind of lost it. And I clearly wasn't maintaining my emotions. And that's something you need to do for most professional jobs, if not most times in life. And the guy said, I'm sorry, it's not going to work. And that really stayed in me. I really realized that right when it came down to it, in one of the most important conversations that would have affected my financial future, I blew it because of my own baggage, my own stuff, right? So even if in the day-to-day you don't feel stressed about money, it's worth clearing all these beliefs from you, right? And just to give a personal example that's true here and now, I love doing this work. I love teaching. I love serving. I talk a lot about spirituality and mystical topics, but I haven't been posting every day. I haven't been doing lives every week because of my own stuff related to this topic to clear. And since I've cleared a lot of it, I'm not claiming to be a perfect being. I feel I'm educated and experienced, but I think we all have work to do. It's so wonderful when you clear stuff so you can work and act and live how you want. So another opportunity to engage, I'd like you to comment on how you would like to feel about money, how you would like to feel about spending, saving, budgeting, planning, debt, any money topics that come up. And just describe how you'd like to feel, maybe with one of those specific scenarios. Even if you feel far from that or maybe close to it, just give yourself a roadmap, give yourself a marker. And while you're thinking and writing that down, I'm just going to read a few of the comments to see about including them in here. Okay. Just take about 5 more seconds and write down if you'd like to share how you would like to feel when your money stuff is cleared. Okay, great. I feel a lot of emotion, psychically, empathically from the comments and people tuning in. So take a second and breathe and release again. Put your hand on anywhere that might feel tight or tense. Just exhale, sigh, release that emotion. Right, this too shall pass. And this is why you're here. This is why you're engaged. Okay. And just like, a race or a marathon or a yearly goal, you don't have to do all of this work at once. We'll make a lot of progress today. There'll be another workshop next week and a mastermind soon. And there's mentoring available if you want to hit me up about that. We'll talk about those towards the end of the workshop. But just to get into the comments now, and you can say multiple things if there's a lot of ways you'd like to feel, inspired, empowered, free. So the next comment that came up is feeling like I'm not worthy of receiving more. Sending a lot of love to the person who wrote that and empathizing. I've been there before, right? When you put in your best efforts, when you know your potential, but because of something in your system, maybe you feel you're not good enough, or in this person's words, not worthy, right? Now, to get a little bit into the spiritual and a little bit into the energy body, which a lot of you tuning in who've seen the rest of my stuff know I talk about a lot, the topics of self-worth are related to the second chakra. Right? Second chakra is a few inches below your navel. It's close to or synonymous with the dantian in Chinese medicine, depending on your school of thought. It's related to feelings of self-worth, belonging, community, connectedness, creativity, sexuality, among other topics. And the organs around that area are the kidneys, the lower digestive system, and a little bit of the sexual organs, right? So as you consider this, if this resonates with you, any of those topics, which they might for a lot of folks here, just put your hand on your lower belly, just kind of feel where you feel your, these energies are. And just, if you need to, just close your eyes and allow yourself to visualize the shape, the size, the energy of that second chakra, right? Is a beautiful, perfect, bright orange sphere? Is there some blackness? Is it misshapen? Is it shrunk? Is it spinning? What's going on? How healthy, how strong, how clear is it, right? And all you need to do is just visualize it how you'd like it to be, right? We talked a lot about clearing beliefs. So there's a lot of belief stuff we can clear related to the topics of worthiness. And again, we could do mentoring or one-on-one to go deeper into your own scenario. But for the second chakra, just see it expanding, see it bright and powerful. Don't focus on the wounds or the things you need to clear. This is a manifestation in real time, manifesting a perfect second chakra. If you do any 5D work or law of attraction work, this is shifting your consciousness into the parallel timeline or reality where that chakra and everything related to it is perfect. You know, in the infinite multiverse, we have infinite physical bodies, energy bodies, and egos. And so knowing that there's a version of you with a perfect second chakra, you shift into that the more you visualize, feel, see, and try to know that that chakra and everything related to it is perfect, healthy, and whole. Now, to give an example of this in the physical, one of my favorite teachers, Dr. Joe Dispenza, was biking one day, got hit by a car, had 10 shattered vertebrae, and this guy is a doctor. He refused all surgeries, got visualization, energy healing, all spiritual stuff. And so he says all of his vertebrae completely regenerated in about 2 months. Now, again, not a medical doctor, not recommending you do that for broken bones, but there's a lot of stories like this where people harnessed their healing ability, the controlled placebo effect, you know, all the science of magic stuff that a lot of people, including him and myself, talk about, and his body healed, right? The energy body gives way to create templates, shifts, structures, the physical body. If you're curious about the scientific data for this, I recommend checking out the Society of Scientific Exploration. Tons of peer-reviewed research, so I'm not going to go over all the sources here. But this can also work for the second chakra. It's so easy to get lost in the healing trap, always looking for something to heal, always looking for something to fix, feeling like you're not good enough and you have to repair yourself because you're broken in some way. And, you know, obviously if you have a broken arm and somebody says it's broken, you know, you need to fix it. But if you hold the image of yourself or chakra as perfect, whole, and complete, that can save a lot of work. And now, I'm not saying to delude yourself. I'm saying to focus on the reality of your own system you want to create and allow yourself to shift into that. Now, another quick 3D technique for self-worth is to save compliments, especially if you ever post publicly anything. Save in screenshot or other form good things and compliments people say about you, whether it's, you know, a simple reaction emoji on social media, whether it's actual words and comments. Save it in a folder, you know, on your computer, on the cloud, on your phone, so it's always accessible, ideally one place to make it easy. And review that every day. Really focus it, really feel it, really take in those words of, you know, the people who see you as worthy or as abundant or fill in the blank. You know, one other small 3D technique is to look yourself in the mirror and say, I am worthy of abundance. I am worthy of being wealthy. I am worthy of being financially sustaining. And even if your rational mind throws all this gobbledygook at you, when you look yourself in the mirror and say this with conviction, it's going to sink in, right? It's going to sink in more and more deeply. And as you do that successfully and shift your subconscious, whether it takes 10, 100, or 1,000 times, you're again repatterning your system so that the work you do, you can feel good about it. You can feel hopeful. You can feel optimistic. Of course, it's good to be rational about everything. If you want to sell watermelons and you don't own any watermelons, probably can't sell many unless you're a watermelon broker, which I guess could be a lucrative career, but you know, fill in your own thing there, right? And the better you feel about yourself, the more self-worth you have, the more gung-ho you're going to be, the more you're going to go after whatever you want to go after. All right, so I'm going to go over through these other comments. Again, if you have anything to share, anything you want to clear, or your ideal template for how you'd like to feel, please comment below. So the next comment is the belief I can't make an impact because of my finances. Whew. So if your goal is to be a philanthropist and give away millions of dollars a year, that is probably one of the only scenarios where there is a direct impact, but there's even a way working around that. You know, you could be a fundraiser and be broke or be bankrupt or be below the poverty line, and connect people who have money with the causes that you care about and make an impact in the world. Of course, while it's great to be wealthy and have a self-sustaining income and all that other stuff, rationally just look at the world and just find people who have a counterexample to this. Find people who are making an impact despite their finances, right? Think about all the billionaires, not the greedy corporate stereotypical billionaires, although there's a lot of, billionaires and people who made money from corporations who do good in the world and give good to the world. The CEO of Juniper Networks donated a large portion of his wealth to create 1440 Multiversity, which is a beautiful retreat center around the Redwoods, all sorts of amazing personal growth and spirituality classes. He was a corporate billionaire and he did good with his money. I don't know his whole story, but breaking the beliefs, breaking the thought patterns that money really matters, money is really critical, can, again, just help you get to that state. And there are so many billionaires who actually were bankrupt at some point in their lives. And as the Kabbalion says, there's pendulums of extremes. And if you faced extreme poverty or bankruptcy or huge debt or didn't have money to pay for essentials, whatever they were, you've probably been at that far end of the extreme, right? You could always say it could always get worse, but if you think about it, the more sadness you know, the more you appreciate happiness. The more absence of money you know, the more you would appreciate money being present. And while I absolutely encourage clearing anything related to greed or lack or stuff like that, it's really healthy, inspiring, fulfilling, nourishing to know that there's a lot of people who feel good and okay about the impact they can make and the life they can have despite their financial circumstances, right? Look at college. A lot of people who see college as relevant, who don't have a lot of money, get scholarships and end up going to college and making a big impact in the world. Not saying that college is necessary, not saying that a prestigious college where you need a scholarship to go is necessary, but there's so many examples here of not just earning money through work, but receiving money from people who believe in you. And while that's maybe not something to rely on, while it's good to earn money through your own actions, realize there's so many possibilities, and whatever feels most aligned and most rational, just consider going for it. Just visualize and believe in your own success with that, along with these other techniques. And I firmly believe your probability of success will go up. You're tuning in here because you care about this topic and care about changing it. And while going from your current budget to your ideal budget may take some time and work, even just being interested in the topic and then committing to the topic and then following through and then finishing it until you have that ideal income month after month, if not more than that, just see and know that reality and choose deep down for it to happen. And each of those is a step. All right, the next topic from Monday. If I can earn money, but I have difficulty holding to it. I feel that I don't deserve to have money. I feel you. There's so many stories about people who win the lottery or who inherit a lot of money and just it sifts through their fingers. To give a personal example, there were times in my life, especially when I lived in Michigan, where I thought, I'm too busy to cook, for example. I only want to eat prepared food. I know it's like 5-10 times more expensive than cooking and my time is worth X. But when I really thought about it, I realized I don't want to work every single waking hour of the day. I love learning. I love podcasts. I love YouTube. I love TEDx. I can do a meaningful activity while cooking. Or I can practice a spiritual meditation and infuse the cooking with love, or focus and being fully zen in the moment and make cooking a meditation. And if you think about it, say Uber Eats, super convenient, right? Say it's $25 a meal with delivery fees and service fees and restaurant markups and all that jazz. Versus if you buy groceries, I calculated for myself once living in the US, you can have $4 a meal and a very big, full, healthy meal and prepare a bunch of stuff at once. So that's just one example of, intelligent money management and time management that can help you hold on to more money. Another way of helping you hold on to more money, as you asked, Mondi, is just be real about your budget and be real about your income. This can be scary if your income is uncertain. Whether you're an entrepreneur or an employee or something else, the economy is crazy right now. It's been crazy before. As somebody I love and trust very deeply recently said, the only thing constant is change, which I feel is true. Every cell in your body is constantly changing and active. So while those things can change, even just do a snapshot. Even if you have no idea where your next dollar is coming from, you know where you're at now. You know what you'll need throughout the next week. If you think about it a little bit, you know where you're going to be throughout the next month, right? And all you need to do is plan. If planning with money feels difficult, the part of your brain associated with planning is right behind your forehead. It's called the dorsolateral prefrontal cortex. It's associated with executive function. There's a lot of things to strengthen this area of the brain. If you just tap it a little bit, you'll actually move blood to it. So says a bunch of YouTube teachers, not a neurologist, but a lot of folks have said this, and I believe it to be true. And anything that really engages it. When this part of my brain I felt wasn't really firing, I actually played competitive StarCraft, which is all about thinking, planning, and decision-making. Sure, you can be reactive, but anything that really activates this part of your brain can make it stronger. So I know if a trigger comes up and your amygdala, the fight or flight, has a lot of blood, electrical activity, it pulls blood from the front of the brain. Another thing I heard about that was really fascinating is if you put an ice pack on your forehead, blood will shift from the center of your brain to the front of it to warm it up. So that can actually pull blood from your amygdala to your frontal lobe, help you be less emotionally reactive. Now, I can speak from experience. There were a few times in my life that were incredibly stressful. And at times where I felt so triggered and then put an ice pack on my forehead, usually within 10 minutes, sometimes faster, sometimes slower, I calmed down. I didn't have to do breathing work or journal or talk to somebody or do all these clearing exercises. I just literally shifted where the blood and electrical activity in my brain was. Now, I didn't get an fMRI while this was happening. I don't have all the real-time data for it. That'd be interesting to get. That'd be cool if there's studies out there. But it's a cool technique. So as you're planning out your weekly and monthly budget with whatever you have, and even if you have nothing, just think about what you need to make and what you need to earn to cover whatever expenses you have, and just really consider, how do you get what you want? Maybe it's food, maybe it's gas, maybe it's rent, maybe it's doing something nice for somebody. Just again, the lifestyle you want to live. You could say basic needs, good life, and dream life, any of those things. And what that can do is that can calm things down so much, right? Say you're sustaining and you're okay, but you've always dreamed of having another 10K or 50K in savings. So you could just take time off work and travel or do whatever, or be prepared in case of a certain life scenario where you couldn't bring in income and you knew you could stay afloat and wouldn't have to ping your family and whole network to help out, right? It's okay to do those things. There's no shame in that, but it's nice to be able to have, I feel that type of a cushion, right? That also takes planning. So the more real with yourself you can be, which again might take clearing and ice packs and whatever, the easier it can be. So Mandi, if you want to hold on to it, deserving, again, clear the belief, I don't deserve to have money, do that technique and related thoughts. But if you just map out how to hold on to money, what you take in and what you spend, maybe there's a way you can reduce your spending by 10, 20, maybe 50% a week, right? And weekly is so much easier to think about than annual or monthly. Annual is such a big container and things can always come up, right? So doing the planning and thinking can make every decision easier. It can be a little tough adjusting, say going to the grocery store or going on Amazon or whatever, and realizing you have a fixed amount to work with. But when you do that, you don't have surprises, right? If you want a certain thing in your life constantly, say you want to get 3 dogs, and I'd love 3 dogs, filling your life with dogs. And dog food costs, I don't know, say you want the best dog food, say $20 a week, that's $80 a month. And say you have a fixed income and fixed expenses and you're just holding even keel, how do you find that extra $20 a week? Well, if you map things out and plan it, maybe you could find it. All right, George has a comment. And again, any comments, questions, limiting beliefs, requests for support. Hey, Diana. Hey, Mary. Great to see you. Any beliefs you want to shift into, please comment below. So George said, I have the money in the form of crypto that I believe will grow as long as I don't sell them too early. And there has not been any regular income or paycheck for me for years. So that sounds like a visualization, a manifestation. I think that's great. And with the previous example, just plan it, map it out, map out the activities that you want to do, map out the research you might need to do, and take that from thought or belief or idea to action. Pretty straightforward. Sonia, money is my companion. We will travel together and support each other. I love that. You know, one of my greatest teachers at every transaction sent gratitude to money. If she bought a waffle, if she bought a coffee, she'd be like, thank you so much, money, for helping me receive this waffle, receive this coffee. I exchange you with love, right? What a good feeling. Instead of, oh my gosh, I bought a waffle, now I have $5 less, right? Instead of reinforcing that lack, fill it with love. You know, I personally track every dollar that I spend. It was a discipline that took me a while to do. And the reason it took me a while is because it hurt seeing the amount I had available go down with every expense. And so I avoided it. And avoidance isn't really a way of making change. It's a way of not thinking about something. And a desire to avoid is a lack of embodiment. And if you can't be embodied and present, there's definitely something to clear, because the desire to avoid and escape is usually resulting from something that makes us not comfortable in our body, not comfortable in the present moment, right? And there's a lot we can do to change our state. There's a lot we can put in our body and do things with our body, but even needing to do breath work or pranayama, that's having to regulate your system. And when you clear limiting beliefs and clear the traumas and the triggers, you'll just stay at an even keel. And as a lot of people might say, that's one more step closer to enlightenment, at least with that topic. All right, Rachel, I love what you shared. I feel easy, abundant, and flowing. I feel abundantly supported, and that I can abundantly support others while investing in my dreams. Whew, I love that. I encourage everybody to look in the mirror and say something like that or similar to that. If you're not looking at this on the live Zoom call, I'm going to say it again. Maybe just note the timestamp in the video so you can write it down. I feel easy, abundant, and flowing. I feel abundantly supported, and that I can abundantly support others while investing in my dreams. Oh, I love it. Rachel, you're amazing. Thank you. I love you. That's so great. So belief-wise, that's awesome. Practically, what does that look like, right? Is supporting others meaning you're putting $50 in Kiva every month? Kiva is a micro-lending platform where you can support, farmers and small entrepreneurs, lend them money for their organic farm or whatever. They build their business, they pay that money back, and then you can re-lend it. It's like a gift that keeps on giving. Kiva is one of my favorite charities because it incentivizes people to support themselves. It's not just money goes and then, it may or may not be used responsibly. So I love that, Rachel. And when you're at a point where that can be specific, like investing in your dreams, for example, like, is that 5K to go to Maui? Is that, a plane flight to Brazil to study shamanically for a little bit? How much is the plane flight back and forth? How much maybe is storage for your stuff or whatever else you would need to get? And just get really clear. So when you do your planning, you know how close you are to hitting your goal, 10, 50, 100%. And you can actually have that experience, not just feel like you can have it, which of course feeling like is a very important early step. All right, I'm gonna read 2 more comments and then shift into the energy portion of this workshop. David says, money is a way to keep track of what we can give to ourselves and to those around us. I feel that. That's a very neutral perspective on money. I think that's very healthy, especially if you have negative emotions or triggers or traumas related to money. Having something neutral is usually much more accessible than glowy positive. Glowy positive is great, and maybe you can be glowy positive with some things. I've known people who feel great giving money for food or school supplies, but not great giving it for other stuff. But neutral is a great healthy middle ground if you have stuff to clear. All right, one more comment from Mary on Facebook. I finally accepted that I'm worthy or to great prosperity and abundance, just like anyone would. I take care of myself, my loved ones, and others, and pay it forward. I like that. I think that's really anchored and really concrete. Thank you so much for sharing, Mary. All right, so we're gonna move into the energy section in a bit. This is a real fun section with some great secrets, some great techniques, some great components of ritual. Before we move into that, I just want to be mindful of time. I'm feeling like giving some extra time tonight, but we did set the container for an hour. So if you're, if you made plans right after or anything else, I want to give you some opportunities to stay engaged. So one of the best ways to stay engaged, aside from going to magicalgoldenage.com and signing up for the newsletter and getting emails about future events, is to actually join a Magical Mastermind. Now, there's so many words of Mastermind out there, but the long and the short of it is there's going to be private weekly lives where anybody who comes can share what's going on with them. Each week we have a different topic. For this quarter, the topic is centered around money and abundance, but that'll be a fulcrum for many, many other things. And you show up, you get spot coaching occasionally as people share things that are representative of the group as a whole. We'll go through different topics, and you'll actually be part of a community where people can share things in confidence and support each other. Throughout my life, I've been really blessed to have a lot of coaches, teachers, and mentors that I worked with one-on-one, and a lot of groups that I worked in. And it feels so great when you can just share and be raw and real in a specific container and build friendships with people who are non-judgmental, who can hear you and support you. So if you're interested in a Magical Mastermind, comment below or shoot me a DM or contact me through magicalgoldenage.com. And I'd love to plan a chat with you to see if that is a good fit. And then one final way of staying very engaged, or actually two ways. One is to share this with a friend and somebody else who you think would like this content where you can talk about it together. But the biggest way is to reach out for one-on-one mentoring. I love providing support directly to you or to people who reach out, where we can set a very intimate one-to-one container. All the focus is on you, and I serve you in all the ways that I can that you need. Whether it's processing things emotionally, whether it's helping with planning, whether it's building spiritual skills or techniques, anything you want to focus on. There's a lot of things that I do that I mentioned through my website and that we can talk about. But that's one of the ways of making the biggest, fastest impacts if you feel ready to make the kind of commitment in yourself to have that type of support. All right, so now we're going to switch from all this mind activity to a little bit of energy body activity. I know we had a lot of other messages and comments in Zoom. Those are great. I'm going to talk about those in future workshops. I'm sorry I couldn't get to all the comments. There's a lot that came in. So just for a second, I want you to hold your hands up and visualize white light above your head and just stream it down through your body. And just keep doing this. So as you inhale, you raise your arms up. As you exhale, you just stream light down your body. And this is clearing all the thoughts, all the emotions that have come so far related to money, right? And just clear that container out. Trust your subconscious to remember and remind all the things that you need for your life. Just 2 more times. Inhale and raise your palms up. Exhale, a shower of white light. 1 more time. This is a great clearing exercise for anything during the day. All right. So now as we're back to clear, we're back to neutral, or as close as we can be. I want you to focus on this bill. And if it feels more personal, grab a bill or a credit card or whatever from your wallet and just tune into it energetically, right? If you're newer at energy work, feel the energy inside your heart. Or if you have a crystal nearby, I have a beautiful hematite right here. So if it's easier for you, you can tune into the crystal. And just get a sense for the energy. Maybe it's a visualization, maybe it's feeling a resonance, whatever it might be, right? As you feel that, as you tune in, notice that while every object has a signature, money is so symbolic of so many things, it has a frequency all in its own, right? As you tune into that frequency of money, as you get familiar with it, I want you to tune into the energy of your money field. So your aura, the energy around you, your vitality, your spirit, your chakras, all of it. You might notice that maybe it's stronger in some places, weaker in others. That's okay. Just like, blood flow to active muscles, there's more types of energy in some areas than others. And as you're tuning into this energy of money, just notice the difference, if there is any, between just the neutral energy of $100, aside from any emotional connections you may still have with money, and the energy of your own system. Now I want you to visualize and focus on the neutral energy of money and draw it into yourself, right? Just like you're drawing an energy from the sun or a star or the earth or a crystal or a tree. As you draw and breathe it into you and visualize the color, do the same thing with money, right? Even if all you're doing is visualizing a green energy going into your system and you're not feeling a whole lot, just feel how you feel drawing money energy into you, right? As you're drawing that energy into you, see how your system feels receiving the energy of money, right? The very, very first money ritual I did years ago was so effective. I had a big contract that I really needed. It was denied. I invested an hour and a half working with the energy of money. Everything felt so aligned and so trancy. I was working with LAKSHMI, who is a Hindu goddess of wealth. And if you're monotheistic or agnostic, just you can consider that as the highest representation of money and love energy in a human-ish form. So usually more relatable, less abstract. You can use any substitute if it feels right. And after that hour and a half, within like 2 or 3 days, I had word that the contract was reversed, and I received like a decent lump sum, like 5 figures, about a week after that, and then stuff monthly for quite a while after that happened. I didn't really do anything else administratively. It was all energy. It felt so great to have that proof, right? I'm going to hold this up. I'm going to put this crystal down, and actually I'm getting intuitively to keep holding it up, so I will. As you're feeling the energy of money, I am going to put this build on though to help you focus on the abstract and not distract you with the symbol. And this is great for grounding. As you're some stuff to clear. As you're considering about your money truth, I feel a lot of third chakra is related to truth and authenticity. So obviously, as we're doing this, maybe I'm helping others clear as I'm clearing that for myself. So as you're receiving and bringing in this money energy and considering how your field feels, just feel intuitively that will this type of work show up and bring up more money in the material plane for you? And just intuitively, it's either a yes or a no. No thoughts, no story, just will this energetic experience bring in money, right? It's a yes or a no. If it's a yes, then I strongly encourage you to make a routine of bringing in money energy. Marie, thank you. Bless you too. So appreciate the love, right? If it does, then just like you would bring in chi to a part of your body that needs to be strengthened, if you consider your money goals, you can actually breathe in and meditate and fill yourself with money energy. It's a really lovely technique. And outside of the abstract connection of money with the dollar bill, you could also think of a person or organization that has a very strong money field, and notice that signature and try to get your signature closer to that signature. So just as if you can like build love and fill yourself with rich, loving energy that you can send to others and feel wrapped in the energy and nourishing energy of love, or perhaps with peace, connecting with a vibration of peace. And just wrapping it in yourself and just drinking in the chi of peacefulness and having more peace in your system. As you put all these techniques together, especially your ideal blueprint of money, what you want to feel, how you want to be, and you bring that feeling in, this is the foundation of law of attraction work. This is what Esther Hicks said you have to figure out for yourself in her book, Money and the Law of Attraction. I figured it out, so I'm teaching and sharing it here. Right? So you get the vibration of how you want to feel with your ideal financial picture. Combine it with drawing in the energy of money. Combine that with the visualization of your ideal dream life. mix these three techniques, and that's actually the manifestation practice to manifest money. Now, I know that's a lot, so you might end up rewatching this video or this part of the video. But when you combine that great feeling, that energy, and that clear visualization, that does so much for changing your money picture, changing your money landscape. Huge. Now, I wish I could get into that more. If you tune in next week, or you sign up for a mastermind, or especially go to magicalgoldenage.com and sign up for the newsletter, you'll be getting a lot more information and a lot more expanded techniques. There'll be full money rituals, not just descriptions of them, to help walk you through it and collectively do this practice to help you change your financial picture. So powerful. Now, there's one more technique, which is one of the easiest ways of manifesting money, and I'm saying it at the end just as a thank you for everyone who's tuned in so long, and that is money mantras. A mantra is a way of sending out a vibration for a certain type of energy to increase that energy in the field and in the presence of your life. Now, it's great when you can feel the phrase, making money is easy. I have a fantastic mentor and Vedic astrologer who anybody who would like, I can make an intro. And he recommended certain mantras for me that had different purposes, one of which was bringing in money. And I kid you not, every day I do this mantra properly, I notice a little bit more money trickling in. And the more days in a row I do it, the more money that trickles in. In the last 2 weeks, I saw a lot of success with this, and I didn't do anything majorly different professionally. The rational mind wants to think, oh, did you just feel better? Were you more motivated from the mantra? Was it all psychological? Did it have any mystical effect whatsoever? And I really feel, and I really believe that the right types of spiritual energetic techniques can shift your field, shift the manifestation energy, shift what reality creation you're engaging in, and actually change what happens in your world. Right now, mantras can be very personalized, which is why I'm not, giving you a mantra straight up. But one of the things you can start with is when you look in the mirror and say that positive mindset of how you'd like to feel about money, wow, it can do so many wonders. It can do so many wonders for shifting your psychology and shifting your expectation for the reality you want to create. So one other way of experiencing reality creation, one second. Hey, can we please have the studio silent? Thank you. So one way of shifting your field, shifting the reality that you're creating, aside from mantras and the visualizations, is getting really solid and really grounded in the experience you want to have and the knowing of that experience. And one of the best sources of education for that is wizard school. Over many years, I've studied a lot about magic, manifestation, law of attraction, all that stuff. And I put together a huge collection of videos that has a lot of that content, explains chakras, explains energy work, explains how holographic reality creation can work, goes over basic, intermediate, advanced level stuff, has all sorts of homework, etc. So if you're interested in that program, again, comment below or DM me or contact me through Magical Golden Age. I'm happy to send you a link. And that is some of my best stuff. So I hope this webinar has served you really well. It was great to tune in with you. I'm really looking forward to giving another one next week and answering any questions, giving any support that I could give. And again, if anything came up that you'd like help with, please reach out or comment below, and I'm happy to serve you however I can. This work is really my purpose in this world. And while I generally say my purpose is to discover, improve upon, and teach the strongest magic of this world, what I've noticed for myself and others is to be free to live your passion and do your passion and make an impact with your passion. Usually you got to have the resources to do so, or you got to find the resources to do so. And money can be such a fundamental thing with that. As I wrote in my book, Magic is Real, I feel called to help build large temples in my lifetime. And building temples requires bricks, requires construction teams, requires money for that. And getting neutral, feeling positive about money is something I want to offer to society, offer to the world. I think if we had our money issues fixed as a civilization, all the squabbles about money, all the, oh, there's not enough resources to support quality education, to support replanting of trees, to support free and clean energy so we can have a much more sustainable planet, and less toxic food, for example, and just a smoother life for everyone here. If money were fixed, a lot of that stuff would shift. And while I'm not, saying to everybody, make money everything about, your focal point about everything in the world, when you have financial freedom, at least in your own mind and headspace, you're a lot freer to act as you'd like to act in the world. And especially when you do things that feel in alignment to your highest truth and that are very rational and that feel not just very aligned, but very right and very loving and very compassionate, then your associations with money will change. And, as Gandhi said, be the change you want to see in the world. So if you want to see others treating others compassionately and lovingly with money, it can start with you, right? If every time you tip a barista, if every time you order something, you infuse that transaction with love and gratitude, you're helping to change the vibration of money. And I think the vibration of money really needs to change around this world. So do our emotional relationships with it. There's so many things done related to people's unresolved emotions about money that they then take those experiences and those unresolved emotions and traumas and stuff from earlier in life and project it onto other people in financial relationships, in financial settings. And that really sucks, right? If you were triggered, for example, from somebody saying you look nice, because maybe somebody said that to you sarcastically a long time ago, and you knew that person was saying it with derision, then if somebody else says you look nice, you'd be like, I look nice? What do you mean? You're a jerk, right? And while that might not make sense, I've known people who actually reacted that way to that phrase. So just what I'd like to offer for you is clearing this stuff isn't just related to your own financial life, prosperity, and success. I really feel it's related to more peace and harmony in the world overall. So just as I'm about to sign off, I welcome and appreciate all types of feedback, requests, and suggestions. I'm always looking to see how I can improve and serve you. I'm here for you, and while doing this work is a profession and is a career for me, I really care about the impact I make in other people's lives, spreading happiness, spreading peace, spreading joy, and spreading love. And that's what it's all about. So, gosh, I could go on for another hour or two, but I want to respect and honor your time. And I really look forward again to serving you, mentoring, mastermind, future lives. And I hope you have a really beautiful day or night, whatever time it is as you're watching this. So thanks so much again for everybody who's tuning in. I'm just saving all these questions here and comments. And yeah, we'll connect soon. I love you and I thank you for being part of this. Bye now.